Okay, so welcome everyone, and I am very excited today to touch on a topic that has been coming across my desk too much. DMC, events industry, and hospitality has been obliterated, decimated to say the least. So I felt it would be a good topic to bring on someone onto the show who could share some light and some positive experiences that they're seeing right now in this pandemic, and hopefully help all you out there as you try to pivot or work within the industry and just make it happen. Because I know there's a lot of terrified candidates out there right now. So welcome. I have Angela Minardi on the line, and she is from San Diego, correct?
Correct.
Beautiful California, San Diego. CEO of Fit City Adventures.
Oh, I'm excited to be here, and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I have my baseball cap over here. We're going to the Stanley Cup. In case you're not a hockey fan, the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to the Stanley Cup. So
Nice.
I'll take that win. But thank you for thank you for jumping on. And
Sure.
if you could just take just a few minutes to tell the audience what you do and how closely you are intertwined with the events and DMC community.
Absolutely. So, Angela Minardi, I'm the Chief Experience Officer at a company called Fit City Adventures. Fit City is a corporate lifestyle and wellness concierge, meaning we plan healthy team building events for companies, conventions, conferences, mostly in the SoCal area, but now because we're virtual, we are planning events all over the world. And it ranges from leisure to adventure. So think meditations, cooking classes, a lot of things coming up around the holidays. We've got athletes that we work with, fitness classes, and really, wellness travel is the #1 travel trend. So when that comes back, we're right in that space. But right now, it's a lot of virtual events, and that is certainly picking up.
I'm seeing that all over. Whenever I go on like blogs on who's hiring now and what to look at post-COVID, it's virtual events. So I know the events industry knows what that is, but can you give like a real Cliff Notes version on what that entails?
Sure. Yeah, so if you think about the conference and convention space, right, there are these big 5,000 to 10,000 person events in conference centers, or you've got your corporate sales kickoff meeting every year. Well, obviously with COVID, they're not flying these people to come together in San Diego anymore, so they're doing these events virtually. Sometimes it's even a tour of events. Sometimes it's every region has their sales conference or their sales meeting. So actually what I'm seeing is there's more events, all online, all on platforms like Zoom, On24, Skype. We're kind of platform agnostic, but you've got these companies creating these really cool portals where you can now even like have avatars and interact and network in these settings online. And we're like kind of in the mix there with these brain breaks and wellness breaks, like an actual conference where you go in and you're doing these yoga classes and meditations, but you're doing it on the video screen.
I'm seeing so much of that, and I'm even seeing it with like home gyms, right? So I just saw an ad for something called The Mirror. Did you see this thing?
Oh yeah. Well, I know The Mirror. Yep.
So anyway, it's wild how this is all like starting to get much more popular now.
Well, it's not going away, right? Like virtual, as much as in person is going to come back, and it will.
Yeah.
The virtual event space is growing because it's cost effective for people to not travel, and so you're going to kind of have a half and half mix, I think, going forward.
You don't have to convince me. Anybody who knows me, who's talked to me in a break room, will tell you I'll go on and on about what the future is going to look like and VR, and I mean, it's just look at the way our phones look right now, right? And how fast they grew in 10 years, right? From my little Nokia flip. So what's going to happen, right, in 10 years from now with VR? It's just going to, I don't even think I can comprehend what it's going to look like. And I think it's all going to come together with what you're talking about too. That said, can you kind of tell us what happened within your company, kind of where you were successful prior to COVID? And then tell me your aha moment and what happened and how you were able to pivot and become successful during this mess.
Yeah. Yeah, so as a corporate lifestyle concierge, we really focused in on travel and tourism and wellness. Those morning yoga sessions for the conventions, the afternoon volleyball clinics on the beach. So we were really showing people how to see the city in a fun, fit way, and people loved it. We were growing really fast. Our first event was with Taco Bell Corporate. They were here for an HR convention. Then we had Vans Corporate. They were here. And so we were growing, right? And then COVID hit. We were actually like signing the dotted line to have this amazing event at the South by Southwest convention on the lake.
Yay. Wow.
We had a piano player, live piano yoga class with headsets and this whole awesome sensory experience. And of course that was canceled. And then all of my conventions canceled and everyone's events canceled. And I am so ingrained with the DMC industry because they are one of our biggest partners, right? They hire us to put on these cool experiences for their big clients. And so that pretty much, offices were closing. And so that was the aha moment was, okay, all the events are ending. I've got to switch online. I have 45 partners. What right now can I bring online? And this was April. And so Cinco de Mayo was coming up and I said, you know what? I'm going to partner with some local chefs. What do people want? I did a quick kind of surveys of like what companies were looking for their employees. And it was just give them something kind of happy to delight them, to look forward to the future. Let's maybe do a cooking class kind of on the cheap. And that's the direction I went. I was like, okay, I'm going to create cooking and cocktails. I've got an awesome mixologist. I've got a chef. We're going to I literally hand delivered because of COVID things, no contact to the door. And we ran a 30-minute cooking class on Zoom. And we were kind of the first out there in like late April, early May. But It was Taco Tuesday, and every news station picked it up. Because at that point, it's like, geez, well, look at this company that's pivoted, that's doing things for employees, local employees. Yeah. So that's where I really started to shift as away from events for the time being, but now more to supporting local companies.
And so I'm going to parse that a little bit.
Yeah.
Few curveball questions.
Okay.
So, and if I'm wrong, just correct me. It sounds like, and I had to do the same thing in my business. You had to get creative. So you had your business model and you had what was making you successful. So speaking from your desk and from your business, how did you come up with what to do? Did you kind of was it just throwing darts at the wall? How were you strategic about it? I mean, was it all focused on, my revenue, or was there a part of the decision that you made to react to the pandemic? I know I'm kind of throwing a lot of questions, but I know that there's people that are sitting at their desk going, okay, that's cool for her. It worked, but what do I do? Right. So what kind of advice can you give to these events professionals and these DMC professionals that are like shaking in their boots right now? Like what kind of wake up call can you do or
Yeah. So I would say networking is key. What I did was at that time was a lot for free, essentially. I was working with organizations like MPI, Site, ILEA, all those event industry organizations. And I'm just reaching out to say, hey, look, like I'm here. I've got some awesome partners. We want to do this stuff for you pro bono to get our names continue to be out there and to help the members. So we ran those cooking and cocktail classes for Site, for MPI, very cheap or for free. And so I think that that's something people realize is like your connections are everything, and picking up the phone and calling and saying, how can I help you? What are you looking for? And that gets your name out there. And then guess what? Like then slowly business started to trickle in from those. Oh, I remember Angela from that cooking and cocktails. And, now we have virtual programs, 50 plus options. But back then it was like one or two. My advice is just start, right? Like just look at your partners, sit down and think, what can I pilot? What things am I good at? What can I bring to the table and offer for free or low cost? Just for branding purposes. I'm all about branding and marketing.
I have such a huge smile on my face because although I live in a whole other world than you, I did the same exact thing. Yeah. And so I think some people sit back and think, oh, great for you, you did it. But no, it's called it's hustling, right? And figuring out what everybody that's a professional has a talent, if they're passionate about it, that they can bring and they can maximize and they can provide something. And I did the same exact thing. I still am doing some things for free to help. Like there's things that I'm doing that I'll get on the phone with somebody and help them, and I'm not going to get compensated for it. And that's okay, because it's all about networking. And even if it's something as much as them liking a post on LinkedIn afterwards or writing you a recommendation, those things help. All those, everything helps, and it all comes full circle. So everything you're saying is spot on. And I think that people just have to have the wherewithal and the courage and then the network to get out there.
And it's a mindset, right? Like I easily could have gotten overwhelmed and put my head in the dirt and said, man, like I just started this company. I quit my consulting job. What the heck, world? But I was just like, I guess I've always I'm the daughter of an immigrant. Like I've always been grinding, the hospitality hustle. I love that. And it's just look at what you're good at. Stop focusing on the negative and see what you've got going for you and do it, right? Like the other thing, I have marketing background. So content is king. So what did I do? I used that extra time I have now to write blogs. And I use those blogs for newsletters, for lead generation on LinkedIn. And it was free content, and people were like, wow, there's all this free fitness activity. Thank you for sharing this and not asking for money right now. And eventually, it turned into clients, right? So there's so much you can do with LinkedIn and content and networking.
Spot on. I had that moment. So prior to COVID, I was breaking records for myself. I went out to dinner to celebrate a record-breaking quarter on March 3rd, and then on March 12th. 12th is the day that I remember. Everybody has a different March date in their mind. Maybe some people April. Mine was March 12th, and everything just hit the fan. I watched all my job orders go disappear, poof, and I had my 5 minutes of fetal position on the floor, and then I just said, "What are you gonna do?" Right? You just dust your shoulders off. You get in there and you just start hammering. And I hustled, and I created YouTube channels. I made content after content after content on LinkedIn. And the stuff that I'm saying, it's not being braggadocious. It's to tell people that are listening, I'm just a recruiter in Florida, right?
Right.
You're a CEO out in San Diego. You just figure it out. You hustle and you figure it out, and you use the resources. LinkedIn's free. I don't pay for a lick of sponsored ads on LinkedIn. Nothing. And I'll get anywhere from 5,000 to 100,000 views per post. That's crazy.
That is amazing. I need some tips from you.
I can tell you, but this is your time. But no, it's content is king. It's so important. And I just think mindset. You said it. I just made a video about mindset. I put it on YouTube. All about mindset, and just don't worry about the things you can't control. Right? What can you control now? And keep them positive. And the things that come out of your mouth, if you're always the person that says, hey, Angela, how was your day today? It's okay. Well, you're going to have an okay day. But if you say, you know what, it's good. Even though maybe it's forced, you keep on saying it, and remarkably, it does end up being good eventually.
There's science behind smiling in your face, releases endorphins and adrenaline. My boyfriend says every time anyone asks him, how's your day? Best day of my life. Best day of my life. Because it's the only day of your life, right? It's now. It's it.
Yeah.
That's hard for me. I'm from New England. I'm a hard worker. We're very I don't know.
I'm a New Yorker. And I'm super jaded. Yeah. And anybody who's watching this and knows me knows I'm not this Mr. Positivity saint. But I took everything I heard, and it's I have no other choice. Am I benefiting off of being negative? No. Right. What is it doing for me? So you put it out, and it just starts to happen. You start to turn into a positive person the more you do it, But so back to the questions for you, because again, I'm going off topic because I tend to do that. That's me. That's what I do. You can rein me in. Just yell at me. What do you see evolving in the events and DMC industry? I know you touched on it a little bit, but kind of tell me what you think is going to happen. You said it's coming back. I believe I'm with you 100%. Hospitality is coming back. Events are coming back. Probably not for a year or two, full capacity, pre-19 levels, but it is going to come back. And I'm seeing stuff already online, Angela. I'm seeing people signing deals. I'm seeing group sales managers. Oh, yeah, it's happening slowly, but what do you see the future?
Yeah, so same thing. I'm doing proposals for 2021 later in the year in person. Smaller groups, 100 to 200, but people are confident, right, that we'll get a vaccine and we'll be okay. In the meantime, it has turned into an amazing space of TV production, where it's on-demand content, high-quality on-demand content that's customized for the clients. So with DMCs, a couple in particular, we've already created a suite of videos for, say, a financial conference coming up in October. We've shot 15 videos for this conference that they're weaving into the day, so it kind of breaks it up. And it's all this customized, like, behind the scenes for their employees, the ultimate smoothie morning recipe, tips from golf pros. Like, we went into TaylorMade and got some really cool video. We shot a chef from who won Hell's Kitchen and her holiday recipes. So that's kind of where the event planning, I think, in the virtual world is. Let's pre-produce content. Let's have all this kind of ready and done and canned, and then we'll get it in so it's very polished, very professional.
Yeah.
And, it's nice to mix in some live stuff too. Like, we'll do live boot camp workouts and things. But it's definitely a land of video. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just going to say that too. I keep on saying that, but it's so true. You're like reading my mind. Video is so important. I was terrified of it. So anybody that's listening to this right now that is scared of video, get over yourself. Do it, because it honestly it works. You hear people out there beating it down your throat, video, and you're like, yeah, maybe I can get away with a cold call, or no, freaking video. It works.
Build up skills, yeah, and you don't need to go to a video production school, right? Get a ring light, get some basic iMovie skills, but no, I mean, I think it's having a vision, like, getting some stuff on YouTube. As an event planner, it's just kind of knowing the cool themes and topics that clients would like, and then finding someone like me that can help you execute on it, right? It's a small camera crew, and a producer editor, which is what I also do, so we can put things together quickly, and then we have all these options.
What should DMC and events professionals be doing now to stand out amongst the competition, right? Like, what do they got to do? Because it's like an analogy, right? There's this rock concert. Everybody's at the bar. The stage it's clear in front of the stage. The band goes on. And everybody rushes to the stage to get to get to the front. So that's basically what's happening when the job posting goes up right now. Boom, the band is on. Everybody rushes to the front. Like, how do they stand out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that showing that creativity, marketing, branding, maybe some of the stuff you've done in your spare time with these organizations to learn. So, like, if you've taken any sort of certification programs, any virtual event type, like, work classes, that will bring you, steps ahead of people, because that's what I see. That's what big clients are hiring for right now for this year and into next year. Like, all these holiday events, it's all virtual. So if you've got any of those skills, even from college, like, put that on there. Talk about, your digital design, your TV, maybe like you created some TV or some videos in the past. It's important.
If they are thinking, you know what, I gave it a run, it was cool, I'm going to try something else out. What industries do you think they can be looking at? And maybe where they live right now, there aren't any opportunities for them at all. Maybe they're in a small town or a smaller city that is saturated. What other opportunities could you suggest they look at?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I love working with event planners because obviously they're very detail-oriented and kind of thinking about all the risks and project management. So I automatically go to, like, an in-house project manager, someone who can help teams get organized. So that's super transferable to marketing teams to healthcare organizations to startups, right? If you've run a multi-million-dollar event, then you can help run a team of people. So that's the direction that I would go in. Consultants, I think a lot of companies like me hire event planners for these big projects. Like I brought on a DMC friend who was laid off for one of my video shoots. So I would say just try to kind of align yourself. Look to see in your business journals and in your local areas what companies are doing well, and obviously reach out to them, try to find connections there. But in those industries, how do you align yourself with the companies that are working in those industries? For example, I have a partner with a large restaurant group here in town. And what did we do? We started delivering all that food. Holiday parties are coming up. They're not going to be in person, and they're not having those big cocktail parties with caterers, etc. So we've created a package that we are delivering, which is a 3-course meal with wine, a sommelier class, and a pairing with music and chocolate. And then we've got our lifestyle angle in there. So if you can be creative, you can find
This sounds like I'm not even in your world, but to me, it almost sounds exciting because it's you're trying to think, I love thinking outside the box. Okay, you back me into a corner. What kind of cool things can I do with this space or this opportunity or this event I can't do at this venue? I can't do the standard. So what can we do? And is that true? Or are you having fun, thinking of these cool new ideas and you're pretty much a pioneer right now?
I love it. Yeah, thank you. I have 20 years in corporate marketing background, communications, PR, and media. So I've done this stuff before, which is kind of cool how the universe brings it all back around, and wellness too. But yeah, I just look at, okay, I've got these 10 hats, right? And I'm going down, I'm putting this hat on today, and I'm putting this hat on today. I don't put myself in a box. And I don't think anyone in the DMC event planning world should, because just because you've worked for, say, this hotel, I'm Hyatt, or that's not your brand. Your brand is you and your strengths. Take some time to write that down and think about what that means for you and what skills do you want to bring to the table versus I want to work for this property or that event planner. Because from an outside perspective, who works across all of them, they're all good. And sometimes I confuse who's who, what's what, because there's so much movement between companies. So don't let the company define you or the resort define you. It's more about you.
Okay. What kind of tips and tricks do you have for marketing and online presence? What would you do if you were them?
So, I would definitely make sure to join all the associations if you can. And they have a lot of discounted rates right now, obviously, in the industries, if you want to stay within the industry. But think a little outside of the industry. For me, I'm part of human resources organizations, part of, the restaurant and hotel association. So kind of try to get around the healthcare. If you think, oh, wow, healthcare is growing, right? Pharmaceuticals are growing. Can you maybe join some free events to network there? And yeah, I would use LinkedIn. I use the voicemail feature in LinkedIn a lot. People don't know that exists. You can leave a voicemail, kind of sets you apart than sending someone a message.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. And then when you get on these Zoom calls, right, with everyone that you're just meeting in this coffee event, right, coffee networking event, take a screenshot when everyone's names are up, hover over, make sure their names are showing, take a screenshot. At that moment, get on LinkedIn, start messaging them in the call. Don't get distracted, but
that's an awesome idea, because there's so many times that we're on these calls, and if you can get on there and do that quick screenshot and start connecting with them on LinkedIn right away and refer to, when I'm on those calls and I'll get random DMs on LinkedIn, I get excited, oh cool, it's someone watched it, and I'll answer whatever question they want to give to me. I think people are receptive of that. I think another thing to piggyback off what you're saying with the voicemail, I've been talking about Loom calls, Loom videos. So I would say someone in the DMC or events industry could do a Loom video. They're free, LOOM, and they can just record 30 to 60 seconds and do a personalized pitch, real quick elevator pitch, if they're applying somewhere, to set themselves apart from that paper application, which is being muddied up amongst hundreds of others.
100%. And bring your personality into it. right? Like props. I put an offer in on a house yesterday and I taped a video. I brought my dog in it. I saw the woman had a photo of skiing, so we had skis in the background. I mean, it's all marketing, right? And market yourself and your brand it's huge.
Yeah, it can be scary because I know I'm probably going to shoot myself on the foot here, but I'm going to do it anyway. So one of the best pieces of advice that I got as a couple of years ago when I first, because I was corporate recruiter for 17 years, and that's a completely different mindset than being a headhunter. Headhunter, right. No one likes us. It's like we're like the lawyer. There's good ones and there's bad ones, but most people don't want a lawyer until they need one, right? It's the same. We're the same thing. Nobody likes headhunters, right? So like I'm all of a sudden in this pool of sharks, and I was so vanilla. I was like this typical recruiter, like, hey, I've been 20 years in the business. If you need my help, I have a specialty. Like nobody cares, right? It's the same old template they all say. Someone told me, Jeremy, just nobody gives a bleep about you and your 20 years experience. You need to just be yourself, and you just got to go for it. And if you tick people off, that's okay, because that means that they're not going to like you when they work with you. But the people who really, really gravitate towards you when you are being your genuine self, they're going to love working for you and love working with you, right? And I do that when I talk to clients. I'm just myself. The way I'm talking right now, I just put it out there. And sometimes it doesn't work, but that's okay. And I think the same thing goes into what you're saying when you're marketing yourself. If you want to bring props, if you want to be fun, yeah, some people aren't going to like it. They might think it's tacky. They might think you're weird. They might think you're kooky. They might think you're awesome. But the point is, the people that like you will love you. Is that dangerous advice? Because it worked for me.
I think you have to be authentic and true to yourself 100%. I also think you have to be a little bit fearless, because what I started doing was asking for help, reaching out to people in these voicemails saying, look, you're a leader in our community, and I would love to just take 15 minutes of your time to have an informational interview and just I have a couple questions on understanding how you got where you are and how your people are doing. And I can't tell you how people want to help, right? Especially right now. And so they're going to say yes. And you're going to glean information from every call. I know it takes time, but at the end of that call, you're going to say, who else can I talk to? Now knowing what you know about me, who do you think I should be connecting with? And they're going to give you someone, and it's just going to lead to so many things. So don't be afraid to ask.
And to get on that a little bit more, because you're absolutely correct. I think the networking piece, I think sometimes, speaking for recruiters, I don't know about the events industry, but I'm assuming it's the same. We want to, our instinct is, okay, jump in the pitch, go sell, pitch. No, they know what you do. They know what you do. If they're on the phone with me, they know I'm a recruiter. I don't need to tell you what I do. If they have something, they have something, right? So just be careful, guys. Don't be so excited to pitch. Just relax.
Yeah, that's right. And I kind of start everything with how can I help?
Yeah.
Right. What's working for you? Just doing a pulse check, right? Temperature check. What's working? What's not? What are you hearing? And I think, and that's, as an event industry person, that's kind of where you want to just go out there and try things. There's a lot of internship opportunities that may lead to full-time jobs, right? Just do what you love. Figure out, you know what? I like music. I want to be in music. Okay, there's a lot of nonprofits doing some cool stuff right now. Can you volunteer for them? And then guess what? Meet their board. Find out who their board is. Yeah. Have coffee with their board. And those board members know a lot of people in town. So that's the route I would go.
That's excellent. That's excellent advice. I mean, I know I really dug in with you a little bit here. Is there anything off the top of your head that you want to share that maybe I didn't bring up, or maybe some words of wisdom? Because I don't know if you know. I mean, you do know, but as a recruiter, my DM is full of events professionals. Before COVID happened, Angela, I never heard from them. Never heard from them. They were never in my message box. They were never in my email. Now they're the most common resume I see, which is terrifying for them. So that's why I felt like, you know what, I'm just going to do a video just specialized for them. So I really hope you can give them some encouragement, and whatever comes off the top, I'll let you roll with it.
Yeah. Well, Of course, and my heart goes out too. But I think, again, staying positive, realizing that your skills are transferable to any industry and any company. You can go in-house. You don't have to stay with that DMC. There's a lot of companies that are starting to plan events for the holidays. I would say use the time to get a little training on the digital world, if you can. Understand video and how that works and how to run a virtual event, and partner with companies, find companies like myself that are still plugging along and may need the help as we grow. So it'll get better. It is going to, maybe start with small events and volunteering your time, and that'll turn into a full-time position.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the time that you took, and I will, of course, put your business name and contact and all that right down here.
Cool.
Here.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm sure you're okay with emails coming your way if someone has a quick question for you, you're okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Find me on LinkedIn and on fitcityadventures.com, on our Instagram, Fit City Adventures. We're national, so we will be, once we're back in full swing, going into different cities and potentially hiring in those cities. So I'm always open to amazing event planners because they make my job easier. So.
I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on. Thank you so much, and I will let you go. Thank you.
All right, Jeremy. Have a great day.
You too.